Alright folks, welcome back. Soon we're leaving here together, which is to say, it's the final countdown. At the start of Ante 14, are we already respectable in size? For some of you, maybe you haven't seen one this big before. Even if you have, maybe you haven't experienced one this big yourself. However, this Wii is not done growing. This Wii is going to go even further beyond. At the time of recording, the score to beat is 26,000. The record firmly held by Zeno. I believe we have the technology. I believe we can inch out ahead. The basic technology here is we have Burglar, gives us extra hands. Burglar, we can copy it with Blueprint, we can copy it with Brainstorm, get even more hands. And so with more hands, we can play more cards per round. We can play with our Wii longer per round, right? We also have Hack giving us re-triggers on our 2s, and so that's going to grow our Wii. We have in the deck Red Seals do the same thing as Hack, giving us more triggers, more activations. And then, for scoring purposes, we have these polychrome cards. Mostly polychrome cards, some that are not polychrome. All of the ones that are polychrome, all of them have the Red Seal. Some of the other 2s, some purple seals, some red seals. We started with the purple seals in the deck. And I have a few, maybe just this one, vanilla 2 or maybe French vanilla 2. Our plan is to turn, since we don't have any discards, turn all of these purple 2s into these red 2s. Turn these other 2s into red 2s. Now, I also want to point out, before we jump into it, before I get asked about it, we are playing on a random seed. If this were a seeded run, it would show the seed here in the menu. Also, I did not record all of this in one sitting. I had to take a break, and so when you leave the game and when you come back to it, it makes your money small. Or maybe, just the money looks small because our Wii is so big. Let's go next. Before we go to the shop, I also want to point out here our score for the last round, the 6.4 E13. E13 is kind of important. So if we go to the shop, now the scoring requirements, E13 also, 5.8 E13, 8.7 E13. And so, for scoring purposes, we can do this maybe with one hand, we can do this with maybe 2 hands, we can do the boss with maybe 3 hands. Except this boss says no repeat hand types, so we'll have to deal with that in a moment. But, here, okay, with the current level of scoring technology, we can win this ante, we can scrape by, playing extra hands off the Burglar here. But, thereafter, for the next ante, we're going to need some more tech, right? And so what we're looking for right now, we're looking for death cards so we can copy our red seals onto these, here, this 2, and then also the purple 2. We're also looking for, maybe some justice cards. We don't necessarily need a lot of glass, but we might want a little bit of glass. The problem with adding any glass to the deck, with the Burglar, you aren't allowed to discard, and so if you draw the glass cards, you're forced to play them, or they just rot in your hand. And with the glass cards also, when you play them, then they get destroyed, right? They get removed from your deck. They have a chance to be destroyed. And right now, if we have Burglar copied by our Blueprint and Brainstorm, we have up to 16 hands per round. And with 16 hands per round, that could be as much as 80 cards per round, right? Except we only have 61 cards in the deck. So we're also looking to add more cards to the deck. We had DNA for a while, but then we had to get rid of it. So, with just 61 cards, I don't want to take the risk of any cards being removed. So what we're looking for maybe is the Idol. And so the Idol shows up in a lot of, just kind of like high scoring runs. Like often that's the plan. Idol picks a random card in your deck. If your deck is all the same card, then it's just going to be all the same card every time. It never changes. And so Idol gives us ×2 on all of our 2s. Sorry. And then, ×2 on all of our 2s. And then with all of the re-triggers, then that is the same as, or as powerful as, or could be combined with glass cards, is what I'm trying to say. So we're looking for the Idol. We don't necessarily need it right away, so I'm not necessarily interested in spending a lot of money looking for it right now, but maybe in the next ante we could re-roll some more to find it. Voucher wise, we have the overstock vouchers giving us the extra shop slots. So when we are ready to buy the idol, then it should be not that hard to find, you know, with the overstock here, and we have, you know, a lot of money saved up. So right now we're just saving the money until we actually do need it. We have the boss reroll voucher here, and so for the purposes of, you know, this boss that says no repeat hand types, I want to be able to play, you know, like 4 of a kind repeatedly to grow the Wii, and then, you know, maybe play 5 of a kind a couple times, play the flush 5 a couple times. And so we'll probably reroll the boss, and we also have the blank voucher looking for the antimatter, extra joker slot. Extra hand size means also if we want, we could get ectoplasm for an extra joker. So let's assume we don't get ectoplasm. Let's assume we don't get the antimatter. If we do find the idol, what would we get rid of? We have to either get rid of the burglar or get rid of the brainstorm. And I think, you know, if you lose the burglar, currently the burglar takes us from 4 hands to 16 hands, right? And so the burglar kind of gives us, you know, 4 times as many hands per round. And so if you swap out the burglar so that you survive for longer, does that mean that you survive for 4 times as long? You know, maybe not. Maybe what we want is, maybe we don't care if we, you know, survive less time, but then get more hands in less time, right? So I think what we'll do instead, if we do find the idol, we'll swap out the brainstorm. That's the plan. Okay, so I want to open the booster packs. What's the order of operations here? So normally what we do is we re-roll for planet cards in the shop. So here's like a Venus card, and what I would normally do is I would buy the Venus card and I would roll and pick up another planet card, and every planet card that you pick up, then it blocks those repeats from showing up in the Celestial pack. But I think the Death cards, the Justice cards, possibly also Fool, copying Death, possibly also Temperance, giving me money. I think the Tarot cards are more important than the planet cards, you know, already having level 16 flush 5. So if that's the case, then we pick up the Judgment here to block Tarot cards instead of blocking planet cards, and then I'm just going to open the Celestial pack. Okay, so this is a mega pack, which means we get to pick 2. So I'm going to pick the flush 5 here, that's the one that we want. And then there's some consideration for taking the 4 of a kind. And what we said in the past was, when we want to play the flush 5 to be our winning hand, that's our scoring hand. We want these other hands to be lower scoring. And then so, you know, if you score too many points with a 4 of a kind, then it's going to end the round, right? And so, you know, in this here, when we have E13, that's kind of like as many points as we can possibly make. We don't really have to worry about the 4 of a kind. The 4 of a kind is not going to be too many points here. But in the future, if we do get the idol, then our 4 of a kind, you know, could be more relevant. So here I'm just going to skip and keep rolling for tarot cards. I'm looking for Justice, Death, and Fool. There's a Sun. There's a Hermit. Giga Chad we don't need. There's Justice. Okay, so I will pick up Justice here. Before I pick up Justice, I'm going to open the Arcana pack. Arcana pack gives me a Fool for another Hermit, or there's just a Hermit here, so I'll take the money. And okay, we'll swap in the Justice card here, and we'll just save it for an emergency situation. We don't necessarily need to use it right away. I said I am looking for the idol, but I don't necessarily need it right now. So $15 rerolls, I'm not going to reroll anymore. We'll just go next. Okay, we said we would reroll the boss. Decrease level of poker hand. So this does, again, make it difficult to play multiple flush 5s. Maybe we have to play only 4 of a kind instead of flush 5. And if one flush 5 does like 5 E13, then this is 2 flush 5s or maybe even 3 flush 5s. I think what we'll do for the boss, we'll save the Justice card, use the 1 glass card to beat the boss, and we shouldn't need glass for these 2 rounds here. Alright, so make sure Burglar is the one being copied and go next. Alright, so 16 hands here, we can switch to the hack. Here I can show you, in the previous round, like I said, it was like 6 E13. That 6 has an asterisk, right? And the reason why we were able to score so much in the previous round is because we got the lucky card activation, and then that, you know, this 64, if you go plus 20 on top of 64, it's actually pretty meaningful, pretty impactful. So without the lucky activation, this should be fine. We can do it for science. That raises our Wii to, you know, maybe plus 300 from just the 1 hand. Yeah, so there, you know, about 4.6 instead of like the 6.4. So you're much less there if we don't get the lucky activation. And okay. So if I play another one of these with the 5 polychrome cards, that's definitely going to be too many points. But if I do this instead, you know, let's play the 4 polychrome plus the 1 lucky card that doesn't have polychrome. This should be safe. And so we can just ship it. By the way, you know, a commonly requested feature is the kind of score calculator. You know, before I submit the hand, I want to know how many points the hand is going to be worth. And so, you know, one way that you could do this is, you know, someone wrote a calculator, Balatro hand calculator. If you just Google it, you can look up Balatro hand calculator. Another way to do this is you can let the animations play out. And then after the animations play out, it'll tell you how many points it is. And then you go to the menu. Okay, and then if I continue where I left off, it will take me back to before I submitted the hand, right? And so you can use that to see what the score is and then just go back, right? That's your score preview. And, you know, obviously this is exploitable. You know, this is not intended behavior. So this is an exploit. This is a cheat if you want. Most of the time, I don't care actually what the score is. I don't care exactly what the score is. Most of the time, I just know it's going to be enough. Or I can, you know, sort of just guess that it's going to be enough. You know, I am fast enough at like the rough calculations that I can do that. You know, maybe it's only 1% of the time where it actually matters whether or not it's enough points when you submit it. And, you know, in that case, for me personally, I don't like to do it. I don't like to do, you know, the menuing here, or, you know, some people call it a save scum. You know, you go back to the previous save state or whatever. But, you know, for you in your own runs, you know, if you're really in a tough spot, maybe you're playing on the gold stakes and you can't take the risk of losing, or, you know, maybe you're playing a really long endless run and you don't want to take the risk of losing, or in this case, we don't actually have risk of losing, but we have risk of losing value, losing money if we score too many points. Then you can do it. You can exit the game and come back to the game. You know, whatever makes the game enjoyable for you, do it. What makes the game enjoyable for me is kind of not knowing some of the time. But I will explain a little bit here, you know, how did I know that this was not going to be too many points, right? How much contribution does 1 polychrome card add? You know, if I take away 1 polychrome card. And so here's something to keep in mind about the plasma deck. Let me try to like talk at the same time that I'm playing, which is maybe not easy, but there we go. So with the plasma deck, if you have, let's say 1,000 chips, but you have 10 million molt, right? Then that 10 million molt is going to be turned into 5 million chips and 5 million molt. And then so that original 1,000 chips that you have doesn't matter at all. So really it just comes down to which of the two numbers is bigger, right? And so right now we only care about the molt. And let's say you have some kind of ×2 effect. So let's say Justice gives us ×2 molt. Well, if you have ×2 molt, that becomes ×2 molt and ×2 chips, right? Doubling your molt also doubles your chips. And so in total, if you put all that together, 1 × 2 on the plasma deck is effectively ×4 to your score. And so let's say you have 2 instances of ×2. 2 × 2s, that's going to be, you know, each one is ×4, so in total that's ×16. If you have 2 instances of ×2, that's ×16 total on the plasma deck. And so ×16, that's more than ×10. So the way that I think about it, you know, when it says E13 here, that means 10 digits, right? 10 decimal places. The difference between E13 and E14 is ×10. And so if you have 2 instances of ×2, that takes you ×16. So ×16 is more than ×10. So that's the same as the, you know, from E13 to E14. That's +1E. If you have 2 instances of ×2, is +1E. If you have 5 instances of ×2, then that's, you know, 2 to the 10th power. Sorry, let me keep track of how many cards I'm playing here. Yeah, 2 to the 10th power is 1,000, right? 1,000 is E plus 3, 3 more digits. If you have like ×1.5s, 2 × 1.5s is 2.25 without the plasma deck, just like in general, 1.5 × 1.5, 2.25. If you have 4 × 1.5s, that's 5 times. If you have 6 × 1.5s, that's about 10 times. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 cards left. Okay. Sorry, so, you know, here I have the card with the red seal, that's 2 activations, and I have hack, and I have blueprint, brainstorm. So in total, 6 activations per 2. If I have polychrome, that's 6 times each polychrome, right? 2 cards left in the deck, so I will play these 4, and we have 5 left over for our final hand. Okay, so 6 activations of ×1.5 is the same as, we said that's 10 times. So that's E plus 1. And if we're playing on the plasma deck, it's another times, so it's E plus 2. The difference between playing the polychrome card or not playing the polychrome card is ×100. It's 2 digits. That's what I'm trying to say. Another easy one to do is if you have polychrome with glass, that's 1.5 and ×2. Those together are ×3. ×3 twice, if we go ×3 on the plasma deck, that's 9 times. 9 times is a little bit less than 10, so that's a little bit less than, you know, 1 more additional E. Okay, let's go next. So now what I'm thinking about, if I want to add more cards to the deck so that I can play more cards. So there we had some leftover hands. We had some hands where we played only 4 cards instead of 5 cards. If we want to add more cards to the deck, I want to use standard packs. Standard packs, you just add whatever card to the deck. But then you do need to, you know, find death cards. So in the shop, I'm looking for death cards. Also here, buffoon pack, give me idle. Never lucky. Alright, so how do I maximize my chances of getting the death card? So like obviously you could just open the standard pack right now, but if I have the death card, then it's safe for me to open the standard pack. If I don't have the death card, then it's not safe because, you know, then the idol could land on whatever the card is that you add to the deck. So let's make sure that we have the death card first. So, you know, re-roll a few times. Okay, we got wheel, we have death. So I think at this point we don't need any more hung men in our lives. This is going to be a solo mission with the Wii, already at 17,000. Actually 17,000 even here. Let's, now that we have the death card, we can try the standard pack. So 2 of spades is great because then I don't have to use the death card. Even if this were just a 6, I would add a 6 to the deck because I know I can see all of my cards every round and I can find the missing one and I can use the death card. And so we have no risk here, which is nice. Also, Tower does kind of the same thing. If you turn a card into stone, then the idol can't pick it. Same with Mail and Rebate, it can't pick the stone cards. I'm going to keep re-rolling a little bit. Show me idol. Idol here. Maybe here. We get this Showman instead. Showman we don't need. We already have duplicate blueprint here. We already have 2 blueprints, and that, you know, we ended up using like 4 invisible jokers, but we did it. Finally, we got the blueprints. So we don't need Showman anymore. Also, Showman makes your booster packs really bad. You know, like your Celestial packs have repeats and your Arcana packs have repeats. It's terrible. Strength we don't need, though that's another option. You can have a strength card and then take an ace from a standard pack. Burnt Joker. Burnt Joker, we could level up our flush 5. I think it's too late for that. I think we don't need that, and we definitely don't need the trading card. Again, here, I don't need the idol yet, so I'm not going to re-roll anymore. Let's just go next. Oh, by the way, the handy tag, we've played 140 hands this run. Okay, we've got 16 hands here. Let's play the 5 of a kind. The death card, I want to save it for those naked 2s. Interesting. So that was only 3.7 E13 instead of like 5 E13, which is less than I was expecting. And what it comes down to is, you know, with these lucky cards, you have a chance for the plus 20. And I think actually with the 6.4, I think we got 2 plus 20s or something like that. Or like you get, obviously if you get the plus 20 at the end, it doesn't matter. But if you get the plus 20 early enough, then it gets multiplied by all the 1.5s. I think if I play another 5 here, it should be safe. This should be less than 5 E13. If it's less than 5, then, you know, 5 plus 3.7, that's 8.7. This should be fine for science. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Okay, so 7.5, obviously very close here, but nah, not even close. So from here on out now, as long as we play only 4 shiny cards at a time, then we're safe, so we can just ship it. Safe in the sense of, you know, not scoring too many points. Bringing us up to 17.7 on the Wii, 17,700. 1, 2, okay, for this 2 that doesn't already have a seal, let's go ahead and make it into polychrome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do need the final hand, to be all polychrome, and so, you know, we could be a little bit more careful. We could be, you know, looking at the deck, doing the deck peek to make sure that we have enough polychrome cards. But, you know, when I look at the deck, it's kind of hard for me to tell what is what and what's in the deck and what's, you know, been used up or whatever. So, whatever. It's close enough, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, we have a few extra hands because we don't quite have 80 cards in the deck. So we can play 4 of a kind a few times if we need to. I think what that means for me, you know, just as like a quick heuristic here, I'm going to keep 1 non-shiny card in hand at all times. until we get down to less than 20 cards, and then I'll keep all shinies in hand. And then that way I can just play faster. Like, that's the plan, is to just play faster. And if we get into an emergency situation, we can use the glass card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I'd be willing to take, if there was a magician in the shop for a lucky card, I'd be willing to make a 2 lucky. You know, with 5 activations, that's $5 every round that we could be missing out on. This is why, by the way, this is why we re-rolled the boss, the, you know, no repeat hand type boss, because, you know, I want to play the same hand over and over again. All right, almost 19,000 on the Wii. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13 cards on the deck, so we have at least one more shiny one left. That's all I need to know. Tell me that I have another shiny one left. Or even if it's not shiny, if I have a red seal, I can make it into glass. One, two, three, 4. 8 cards left on the deck, so let's keep 4 shinies in hand. My wrist hurts from playing so long. Alright, 3 cards left in the deck, so I'm going to ship 4 here. Get a little bit of money. One, 2, 3. Ship it. $19,000, almost 20,000. I think we get about 300 per 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That takes us up to 20,000, just shy of 20,000. So that means about 3,000 per round. 3,000 in the first round, 3,000 in the second round. Which means about 2 more rounds away from beating Zeno. Okay, Fool gives me another death card. That's something that I'm interested in. Since I have the death card, I can open the standard pack. We don't have any 2s here, so I'll just take the king. It doesn't matter what I take, but what's nice about the king is it's like easily identifiable. And I have the death to use on the king. I want this celestial pack, so Mars in the shop. Show me 5 different planet cards. No Eris, so we just skip. And re-roll a little bit more. I'd like to find maybe another Fool so I could get a second death card. Temperance, Hermit, you know, for money is always good. Idol, still looking for the Idol, but not necessarily working very hard for it. The Emperor here. I think of the different tarot cards that I could get, these are the 3 that I already want. Maybe just Fool is the one that I'm missing, but you know, I want death cards so that I can turn maybe my, you know, naked 2 into a red 2. Tower so I can, you know, turn this king into a, you know, non-king, you know, turn it into stone. Glass in case of emergency we can break. How about let's skip this Emperor, that feels weird. Hung Man, we can pass. Fool. Okay, so if I have the Fool, I don't need the Tower. We could Fool and Death, we could do both of those. Okay, one more time for Idol. One more time for Idol. Oh, don't mind if I didgeridoo. Okay, so we said we get rid of the Brainstorm. We still want the Burglar for the extra hands. Now we have the Idol to help us score, so we don't need Justice, but I guess we can hold on to it. Now, do I reroll more? So like now, there aren't any jokers that I need, right? Because I don't have any joker slots. Now I'm looking for ectoplasm. Now I'm looking for antimatter voucher to get an extra joker slot. And if I want to get the antimatter voucher, maybe something that we can do, we can buy this planet merchant. And like normally I say, hey, don't do that. You know, if you add the planet cards to the shop, extra planet cards, it's going to be harder for you to find your jokers and tarot cards. But now there aren't really any jokers that I'm going for. There aren't any jokers that I need. So maybe we just take this planet merchant. And maybe we don't even reroll here. Let's just go next. Because I already have the tarot cards that I want. Alright, so the boss says decrease level of poker hand. So we only get to play one flush 5. That's the plan. Okay, we want to blueprint copies on our hack. We drew the king, so we can go ahead and use a death card. And the fool, I'm just going to go ahead and get another death card. And now for science, here's what happens if we play, so like idle gives us a bunch of ×2s. The ×2s are like very meaningful. So here's what it looks like even without brainstorm copying hack with just the idle. Let's try a pair for science. And if we need more, we can tune it up more. Even 2000 on the Wii. Okay, so what does this tell me? So E11. What that tells me is 2 2s is E11. So 1 2 is like E5. E like 5.5, right? And so if I do 3 2s, that'll be E16. E16 is way too much. Now, what if instead of this 2, what if I do this 2 with the red seal? With the polychrome, that's E5 extra. Without polychrome, how much does polychrome add? Polychrome adds something like, we said it was like E2 it adds. It's like times 100, right? So if I go E16 and then minus E2 is E14, that's too close. I think we just stick with pairs for now, which is a little bit awkward, but you know, we'll have higher scoring requirements in the future and we'll be able to play more hands. This is why, by the way, this is why I didn't want the idle this early necessarily, because now I don't get as much Wii action with the idle. But I guess it's better than losing. It's better than passing the idle and then not getting the idle when you actually do need it. So, fine. I'll take my medicine. And I'll keep playing pairs. Man. Also, since we lost Brainstorm, we're getting, you know, less copies of hack. 15% less 2s. Or 15% less per 2. Okay, now with this, so I said ballpark. Ballpark, if I play these 3 without the polychrome, this is E14. So if I replace red seal with purple seal, and these 2 don't have polychrome, my guess is it's less than E14. So ship it. We already played most of our hands and we're only playing 2 2s at a time anyway, and so, you know, if this is too much, then oops, I guess. Nice. Calculated. I would like to draw an opportunity to use this death card. I don't want to use the death on a red seal. Turning into polychrome doesn't really help me that much because red seals are what matter the most, so that we get the most activations. It's not really about the points, it's just about getting the activations. If I get a non-red seal, then I would be willing to use the death on it. Alright, 2 at a time. Five of a kind definitely works. So here's 5 of a kind, in case you were curious. I guess we hold on to the death card. D level of flush 5. You know, we could have played 4 of a kind and would not have gotten the D level, but I'd rather grow my Wii and then not worry so much about the planet cards. 21,000. Okay, so that takes us up to E27. So if we go to, you know, the scoring requirements here, you know, ante 16 is E20. So this is ante 15 is E16, ante 16 is E20. So the difference here is 4. The next one's going to be E25, except it's like a little bit more than that. I think it's like E26 because this is already 8.6, E20. I think the next one's E26. And if we are playing on the plasma deck, all of these are doubled. And so whatever. We're good for 2 antes, is what I'm trying to say. We're good for a while. Scoring wise, we're good for a while. Check the idol here, 2 of spades, cool. Discount voucher, sure. Liquidation, so now we have $1 hermit here. Spectral pack. Do I want to reroll for tarot cards first? Or just open it? I guess I already have a death card. Let's try the standard pack. Standard pack has a king, queen, and 10. So none of these are 2s. I guess the question is like, with the burglar, without the brainstorm, so we have 3 less hands. We only have 13 hands instead of 16 hands. With 13 hands, with idle, how many cards can I play at a time? You know, maybe 3 cards at a time, maybe 4 cards at a time. Let's say 3 cards at a time. Am I going to dig deep enough in my deck to be able to see these cards? Because if I don't see them, I can't use death on them. I think we skip here, standard pack, just to be safe. And for this spectral pack, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, ectoplasm would be cool, but if you don't give me ectoplasm, maybe cryptid? Add more cards to the deck. That's actually sweet. Do I want this purple seal to be, I could make a blue seal and we could use that to level up our flush 5. We can guarantee basically that we get the blue seal in our hand. Maybe that's something that I'm interested in doing. I guess also here I could have used cryptid on the, you know, I thought they were all shiny because they're all red here, but I am noticing now that I could have used cryptid here. Oh well. Yeah, I think the purple one, I'm going to blue seal, just to have a blue seal in the deck. It'll be useful for a few rounds and then we can always like swap it out later. The death card we hold on to for maybe this 2, the naked 2. And I'm looking for fool. You know, sometimes a little bit of re-rolling can get you a little bit of money. So maybe, I don't know, planet just buys for $1, sells for $1. Mercury, nope. Polychrome swashbuckler, nope. Neptune, nope. Sun, Uranus, we don't need. World, Saturn. I'm going to stop re-rolling. I want to re-roll a few times, you know, because you do have a chance of getting Hermit or Temperance that's going to give you money. So it has like positive expected value to re-roll. And you can get random negatives very rarely, very rarely. But yeah, if I already have the Death card, I don't need to be re-rolling. What I would like to pick up is a Fool or Heiress cards. Let's go next. Save my money for when I get Ectoplasm. I will want to re-roll for the Brainstorm, and I'm going to spend a lot of money to do that. Boss here says play only one hand type. I think that's maybe doable. That seems really tough. It's going to be really tough to kind of like bounce back and forth between the scoring and the non-scoring hands, you know, with the polychromes and the non-polychromes. So I'm just going to re-roll it. Extra large. Extra large is extra nice. Go next. In an emergency, we can also, you know, take the boss reroll here, or you can reroll for a luchador in the shop. And that's part of the reason why you know, stockpile all the money is like in an emergency, if you need luchador, you could just get luchador. Or, you know, reroll for tarot cards where you don't need the luchador. All right, we did the burglar already. I'm going to copy the hack. If I want more points, I can do this. I could copy the hack and then also copy the idol, but currently we're not worried about getting more points. We want to score less points. Let's try for science. Let's do 3 2s. So my prediction was E16, E15, E14, okay. Well, I guess it depends on whether or not you hit the plus 20, because like, you know, 3 of a kind starts at 3, but if you hit the plus 20, then that's already a jump, you know, that's already 10 times from the beginning, or not really 10 times, but like 7 times from the beginning. So I think we're gonna stick with 3 of a kind. We might be able to get away with 4 of a kind if we play the purple one. That might work, 4 of a kind. Yeah, without polychrome, that should work. Oh yeah. Okay. So with polychrome we play 3 at a time. If we have 4 without polychrome, 4 non-shiny ones, that was E12. Okay. This 2 here, maybe this one doesn't need to be polychrome. Alright, let's play another 3. $65 twos total. Currently our Wii is on 22,000. This idol has really stunted our growth. Alright, we can play 4 of a kind. Maybe, yeah. It was E12 with 1 purple seal. That one looked like E13. Also, technically, you know, if you play 10 E15s, that adds up to E16. If you play 10 E16s, that adds up to E17, right? Maybe what we do now, we can play 1, 2, 3, 4. Even with the polychrome with the 2 purples, this should be fine. 4 of a kind. $22,000, 22,400. Nice. Alright, so this is more than what I was previously able to do already. I did try this one before on stream, and this was, you know, about as far as we got, but we're on a much better pace this time. We have much better technology this time. 2 polychromes? That seems like too much. Play 3. I guess the difference is just 1, 2. I guess I'll play the 3 of a kind. Yeah, last time we were playing on stream, we didn't get the DNA, or we didn't get it as long, or, you know, something like that. But, you know, by the time we got the burglar, we didn't have enough cards in our deck, and so we weren't able to play enough cards per round. Nice, so we still get the E26. Make sure blueprint copies of the burglar. Alright, so what are we trying to do here in the shop? We open the standard pack. Before we open the standard pack, we look for... Actually, we don't open the standard pack. Well, we do, but we only take it if it's a 2. Can I get a 2? I do get a 2. Alright. I'm looking for a magician. I'm looking for a death card. I can hold on to these planets. There's an Eris card, nice. $10 reroll. $10 seems expensive. Expensive reroll. Probably shouldn't reroll anymore. Alright. Arcana pack. Okay, we don't remove cards from the deck. Magician is cool, except, you know, we don't have the thing, so we'll just skip. The planets, I guess I can hold on to them for now. There's no punishment for doing that. Go next. Alright, so what we determined was 3 of a kind. Ship it. Almost 23,000 now. Yeah, just give me a full round of flush 5s. Just 1 round is all it would take. And then that would be 3,000. And then we'd catch up to Zayna. One, two, three. When I get some more non-shiny cards in the hand, we can play 4 at a time. 4 of a kind is E17. Well, 4 shinies, that is. 4 shinies is definitely too much. We have the blue seal in hand now, so we get another Eris card. I mean, every little bit helps. 23,300. So 1, 2, 3. I'm questioning whether or not I can play 1 shiny with 4 of a kind. 1 shiny with 4 of a kind? This would be devastating. We would lose so much Wii action. Oh, it's fine. It's safe. We're in the clear. Okay. Maybe even 2 works? 2 polychromes? So we'll just play it safe. We definitely know this is safe. Slow and steady. When you're growing the Wii, slow and steady. If you're patient, it might even grow, you know, up to 3 times its size. Okay. I didn't get the Magician for my 2, so that's kind of stinky. There's 4. We do get a decent amount of money there. Alright, we could play a little bit faster. Can we? I don't know. Most of it is just like waiting for the animations. This is 24,000. 1, 2, 3. I need to make room. I need to make room for my Eris card, so I don't forget. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That takes us up to 24,500. Okay, now, okay, we have the Eris card. What's the scoring requirements now? We have, oh, we still have the boss coming up. Okay, we check the standard pack for a 2. If it's not a 2, we don't add it. Look for a death card. Try the Emperor. Nope. Alright, don't reroll too much. Didn't get the death card, which is a little bit sad. Hermit here for more money. Maybe we keep going. There's a Luchador, but we don't need it. There's the death card. Nice. Can we get a Fool too? Tower helps, you know, get rid of bad cards. So let's go next. Copy the Burglar. Okay, this time the scoring requirements are higher. So we still play three at a time. But maybe also 4 at a time. You know, normally this big block, the wall, you know, the extra large blind or whatever it is, you know, it's like ×4 for a boss instead of ×2. Normal bosses are ×2, the base, and then the wall is like another ×2 on top of that, ×4 total. You know, in terms of like orders of magnitude, times 2 is not that much. If the difference between E15 and E17 is times 100, right? Yeah, I think we don't do 4 shiny still. Each 2 is E5, and so 3 2s is E15 and 4 2s is E20. Okay, here with all the red seals, maybe we play like this. 4 of a kind. Without polychrome, this 4 of a kind should be safe. I think we already determined this. One, two, three. I think with 2 purples, I can play 2 polychromes. We'll see. Alright, 25,500, not quite as big as Zeno's yet. But I do feel we're approaching. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we start saving up shiny ones. Okay. 3 hands left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Want to make sure I have enough shiny ones left over. For the blue seal for the Eris card, what do we sell? Maybe since we don't need glass yet, maybe we sell the Justice card? Oh, I should have played the... I guess it doesn't matter, right? We already know 4 of a kind is E17 or better. Actually, E20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and use Eris now, in case there's one in the shop. Okay, wasteful voucher, extra discard, doesn't do anything, but we'll just buy it to get rid of it. 2 planets here so we can open the Celestial Pack. Eris, nice. We don't have the telescope yet, but for the purposes of getting the telescope in the future, we want to try to play Flush 5 more than anything else, but maybe we lose the ability to do that. Hopefully we'll get to a point where the scoring requirements are high enough. I think E21, I think it's now safe to play 4 of a kind. Before we go Jumbo Arcana, what do we want to do here? Roll for Eris and Fool cards. Strength, nope. There's a Fool. Sure. Okay, and then Arcana. Nothing for me to use Death on. I don't need Justice. I don't want the Wheel. And go next. Okay, make sure we copy the Burglar. This boss forces 1 card to be selected. That's not a problem. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I play 4, with, let's do one non-polychrome and just see how it does. Anyway, the thing about the wheel, we used the wheel early on in the run and we ended up getting a holographic blueprint, and because this was holographic, you can't turn this negative. Ectoplasm won't turn this negative. And so, you know, I want some of these others to be negative. Okay, cool. 4 of a kind is safe. I'll use the death card here on the 2. I could use another death card on a purple seal, but I'm not going to yet. Yeah, we might be able to play... We definitely can't play any kind of 5 of a kind, but we might be able to play 4 of a kind all shiny if we need to. We'll see. Holding on to the death card depending on, you know, what our needs are. $27,000, we've officially done it. Xano's Wii is long behind us. I think I still play 3 here. I'm not ready to commit to 4. Maybe I should have held this one in hand and I could use the death card to copy this later. Copy it onto something else. Copy it onto a purple one. Yeah, here's all those purple ones. Or maybe we save the death card until the final hand. You know, in an emergency, if I need it, I can use it. I want to get to the point where I can play 5 again. That way I can see all of my cards, which I cannot currently. Maybe, yeah, maybe what we do here is turn the purple one into a red one. At least we know for the 5 of a kind, we don't need the polychrome ones. We just play 5. And also if we need more points, we can always use the blueprint on the idol instead of the hack. Will be worth more points. 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, just because our Wii is going to be the biggest, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of those other Wiis aren't equally impressive. You did see, you know, kind of all of the technology that went into this run. And so anyone else was able to get, you know, in the same kind of ballpark, same order of magnitude, very impressive. One, two, three, 4. Maybe I'll play the purple one here and then save the red one for the final hand. One, two, three, 4, 5. Okay, ending this round, again, you know, the same kind of like E26 score, and then also 28,000 on the Wii. Oh, by the way, since we are playing on a random seed, we can see in the stats here, it keeps track of our best hand here. If you're playing a seeded run, a set seed run, then it won't show this. Like, it won't save your stats if you're doing a seeded run, but since we're playing on a random seed, we can actually see what our best hand is. We can see our money here is 45.15, I guess. Okay. Yeah, one thing that like kind of bothers me about the game is like when you go to the shop, it resets the score to 0. I would like to have it stick around longer, right? That way when I'm shopping, I know, you know, what the score is to think about. 2 Arcana packs here. I will do a little bit of re-rolling for tarot cards. More death cards always. Give me death. A little bit sad we can't get the rebate money anymore, but we got plenty of lucky money. Nice. Decent number of Heiress cards. Another Heiress card. You gotta appreciate the little things. Hermit, yes. Alright, let's open the Arcana packs now. There's another Hermit. Do I want to use the death card here and then reroll for another one? Do I want to use the Emperor? I guess. No, we just take the money. You know, the money could be more tarot cards, so it could be anything. Could even be a goat. Let's go next. Alright, with the red seal we could play 4 of a kind. I don't want to make too many non-polychrome cards in the deck, not like too many of them, because, you know, without being able to discard, without being able to dig, let's say. I'll go ahead and use the death card here. Anyway, what I was saying is, you know, without the ability to dig for the polychrome cards, when you do need the polychrome cards to score, you want to be able to find them, right? And I want to be able to, like, play 5 cards, holding on to, like, 3 polychromes without having any risk of failure. You know, like, if the bottom 6 cards of your deck are all non-shiny, then that's pretty uncomfortable. Coming up on 30,000 here with the Wii, 29,000 so far. I guess 29,000 is still, you know, 1,000 away. It's still like decently far away. Final boss here, forcing a card to be selected, is not going to be a problem with, you know, we already know we can score E21 even without all polychrome. One, two, three, 4. Alright, still looking for ectoplasm and antimatter for another Joker slot. And when we do get another Joker slot, the plan is to pick up Brainstorm. Standard packs are not valid right now because we don't get to see all of our cards every round, but in the future when we are able to play 5 cards every round, or every hand, when we can play all of our cards and see all of our cards, then we'll be able to open standard packs again. And then also our long-term plan, if we do need more scoring, we can add a few glass cards to the deck. We only need glass on the final hand, right? So we only need 5 glass cards per round. And with the idol, or sorry, with the burglar, you do have this issue of like, if you have glass cards in hand, you don't get to play them. It's like kind of awkward. You have to hold on to them. Alright, we is now 30,000. One, two, let's play again for all of the non-shiny ones. I guess instead of just Brainstorm, Dusk would also be acceptable. Sorry, making sure I have room for Eris card from the blue seal. Yeah, so Dusk would be... You don't get all the re-triggers on all of the hands, but you know, for the purposes of survival, for the purpose of scoring, you can get on the final hand. I did see... Alright, never mind. Let's go Death card, yes. Planet cards. So maybe what we do, hold on to some planet cards. Alright, that's good enough. Nope to Venus. And nope to all of those. Alright. Looking for a Fool card. Looking for, you know, random money in the shop, random negatives in the shop. Don't reroll too much. Go next. So this is forced to be selected. Alright, so here's 4. And in an emergency, we have death. Looking for an opportunity to use the death card. You know, maybe if we see another purple seal, we can use the death card. Yeah, some hands are just like worth way more than other hands, and I think it just comes down to that lucky activation. That first plus 20 can be very impactful. I think here I'm just gonna play 3 because I want to make sure I have this extra one in case I, you know, use the death card. We at 31,000. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Man. I'll play 3. Man. I guess I'll play 4. I guess I'll make this purple one into a shiny one on the final hand. Maybe that's what I'll do. $5,000, by the way. So like, you know, one option is you just save the death cards until you need them. Like, you know, you open a standard pack and you add a card and you use the death card on whatever card you add. Another strategy is, you know, if you're holding on to the death card, you don't get to find more death cards. And if we use one, we can probably, we have the power to just re-roll and find another one in the shop. So it's better to use one every round if you can. Okay, here we can play 4. We do need the final hand. No, we don't. Yeah, we're close enough where we don't need the final hand to have all red seals even. They don't even have to be red seals. Oh, this stinks really bad. Do we have enough shiny cards? This looks suspicious. We have 3 hands left. Like I said, if we need more points, we can always use the blueprint on the idol instead of the hack. So there's a shiny one. I'm gonna play their 4 of a kind. Okay, this purple one can become shiny. And then I can play these 4. One, two, three, four, 5. Alright, so hopefully next ante we should get into the like E26, E27 territory. And then we should be able to play 5 at a time. So we can see here our best hand is 1.4, you know, 1.5 E27. And the scoring requirements here are going to be E25. Ah, man. That means I probably don't get to play 5 cards. But maybe if it's not polychrome, it's safe. We get the grabber for an extra hand is cool. Okay, 2 planets in the shop, so we go open the Celestial Pack. Nope. Now re-roll for death. There's death. Reroll for a fool. Okay, and then open the Archon pack. Alright, so this stuff we don't need, death we can't use, so let's skip and go next. Negative tag. Nope. Boss says base chips and molt are halved. So again here, half chips doesn't matter. Half molt does matter. Half molt is the same as, you know, on the plasma deck. Half molt is also half chips. So this will reduce our score by 1/4, 1/4. To keep in mind. Or normally on the plasma deck, if it's chips and molt, this reduces your score by half and then half again, and then half on both is 1/16 your score. Is like exceptionally terrible. You know, unless you have like jokers or whatever. All right, so now 4 of a kind 2s is safe. Let me demonstrate. 4 of a kind 2s is safe. 32,600. Okay. 4 2s. What if I add one that doesn't have the red seal and doesn't have polychrome? 5 of a kind. Ship it for science? I'm scared. Oh, it's too much. Oh. We live? So maybe 1, 2. What if we do this? What if we do 5 that doesn't have polychrome? 2 without polychrome. $33,000. Give me the glorious flush 5. Oh, we're so in it. We're so good. 5 at a time. Let's go. This does mean on the final hand I do want to make sure that I get the, you know, the full 5 in there. The full 5 shiny ones. But we should be fine. We have the death card in case of emergency. You know, let's say for sake of argument, let's say we play the flush 5 and one of them doesn't have a red seal, right? Adding the red seal is 1 more activation of the idol, 1 additional times 2. And 1 additional times 2 on the plasma deck is the same as a times 4. Right, so let's play, you know, this hand. If this hand is 1 E25, then this hand plus a red seal should be 4 times as much. Should be like 4 E25, which is too much. Okay, so, well, this should be safe. This should be like 4 E25, but I don't want to risk it. $34,000 on the Wii. Yeah, that rough calculation that I said, that doesn't take into account, you know, what happens if you get the plus 20. Because then the plus 20 is the same as the times, right? The difference between 7 and 27 is 3 times, right? 3 times, which becomes 9 times, is E10. We didn't use the death card. Is that okay? Do I want to use the death card? How attached am I to this blue seal? Maybe we get rid of it. Long term, I'd rather have just more red seals in my deck. Flush 5 is already leveled up high enough, and then we can get, you know, more from just celestial packs. 35,000 on the Wii. Plenty of points here. The boss... No, the boss is like 1/4 of this points, is like plenty of points. Okay. Celestial pack, nope. Jumbo Buffoon, I guess, has a chance to give you negatives. Otherwise, there isn't really anything else that we're looking for. We reroll for death cards, potentially. Death cards and fool cards. And we don't necessarily have to spend a lot, and maybe we shouldn't spend a lot. Let's just go next. One, two, three. Okay, we can play 4 with 1 purple. We know that's safe. We can play 2 red seals as long as we have 2, you know, non-shiny ones. Sorry, we can play the flush 5 all red seals as long as 2 of them are non-shiny. $35,500. $5,000 in the bank. Next ante, we should be able to play the full flush 5 without scoring too many. Which is great, because then I don't have to think as hard. Then we could play a little bit faster. Here, as long as we know it's 4, we just play 4. $36,000. Yeah, once again, the things that we're looking for ectoplasm or the antimatter for an extra slot. Oh, I didn't explain why. I said, you know, currently Blueprints, Copy, and Hack is not the most possible points that we could make, and I said that Blueprint copying Idol is going to be worth more points, but I didn't say why. And so, you know, here's how you count it. The card itself plus the red seal is 2 activations, and then, you know, each hack on top of that is additional activations, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Currently 5 activations of the 1 idle effect, and also polychrome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So think of that as 5 activations times 2 abilities. If we go 1 additional blueprint on idle, you'll have 4 activations times 3 abilities. And so that 4 times 3 is bigger than, 5 times 2 is basically how it works. $37,000. We started this video. We started at 14,000. If we do get an extra Joker slot, or maybe we replace the burglar with something else, maybe we replace the burglar with a different brainstorm in the future because that's what we need, or maybe we replace it with Dusk if we need to survive. Assuming that these things happen. Sorry, just let me get the fire started here. Yeah, assuming that this happens, I think we can grow our weed to 3 times as big. I think we can get to 42,000. We just have 5,000 more to go. And we haven't peaked yet. Alright, so this is the final hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ship it. And we know this is E27. If the boss chooses to give us 1/4 of that, that's still in the ballpark of E26, so we should be good to go on the boss. I think this same hand will beat the boss. Okay, let's look for death. There's Temperance, so we get to keep, Temperance buys us 3 rolls. There's Eris. I'm gonna open the Arcana pack. Bummer. I could use Priestess here. I will. Because now 2 planet cards, 3 planet cards. Let's open the Celestial pack. For Eris. And go to the boss. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we should get, I'm curious how much we get in this round, maybe at least 2,000. Yeah, we should be able to get 2,000 more, takes us to 40,000. And we just want to make sure that our final hand is 5 shinies. $38,000. Oh yeah, by the way, this same strategy here, this same build, it works for other purposes as well. If you want to get the record for the biggest cat, all you do is replace the Wii Joker with the cat. If you want to get the record for the most money, you just replace the Wii Joker with the golden ticket. Golden ticket gives you money every time you play a gold card. Or more precisely, every time a gold card triggers. Alright, with the purple seal, we should be able to play 5. the red seals, we can play 2. Sorry, 2 red, 2 non-shinies. That's what I meant. For a total of 5. Flush 5. 39,000. That means we're not going to get to 40,000. Dang, that was a lot of money sounds. Got a lot of money. 6,000 in the bank. 39,300. Okay, 12 cards left in the deck. Playing 4 at a time, I think we do get to see most or all of our deck, and so if we see standard packs in the future, I can start taking standard packs again. With this purple, we can play 5 at a time. One, two, three, four. Maybe with this boss we could play 5. Yeah, let's try that. So it doesn't have the polychrome, so I think this will be fine. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. 40,000. 40,000 on our Wii. Just like we drew it up. I said it was like, you know, 1.6 E26, so a quarter of that is 4 E26. Sorry, 1.6 E27. A quarter of that is 4 E26. So, you know, not even close. Actually calculated. Okay, I want the Planet Tycoon to, you know, get rid of the vouchers, and that way we get the antimatter in the future. Maybe, hopefully. Or, you know, I guess there's like other kind of vouchers that maybe are useful to us, maybe an extra hand, maybe. I will buy the Tycoon after the big blind. And so, let's see here. What's the scoring situation here? E31 we can't do with the current configuration, but if we go an extra blueprint on the idol, that should be enough points. I'll show you, it's definitely enough points. Is there anything else we want to be doing here? I think now with the burglar we can play all of our cards, so standard packs are valid again. So before we do that, actually we have the tower, so we're safe. Maybe we could go blue seal again. Yeah, maybe blue seal and I can just turn it to stone. What about this celestial pack? Eris again, nice. Gonna reroll a little bit looking for death. Death, not, this is Senor Huesos we don't need. I want death. There we go. Maybe also a fool, or is that too much to ask? Alright, perfectly serviceable. Boss says play only one hand? Absolutely not. Get out of here. Lose $1. Unfortunate, but I think we might be able to survive that. Okay, so now we're free. We just play any 5. Okay, I'm gonna say this, you know, like every 10 minutes or so, but we're looking for ectoplasm or antimatter. Extra Joker slot, give it to me, one time. All you gotta do is survive for longer. If you survive long enough, you'll eventually collect all the vouchers, right? There are 32 vouchers, and so collecting all of them is challenging. We need to make sure that there's at least one shiny one in the final hand. Level 32 Flush 5, you know, we get like 2 or 3 planet cards every round. So this 8 here, I'm actually just going to turn it into a 2 rather than turning it into stone. We don't need the blue seal. Question. I said it would make a difference if I copy idle with the blueprint instead of hack with the blueprint. How much of a difference would it make? If this Flush 5 scores, you know, let's say 1 E27, how much of a difference does it make 2 copies of the idol instead of just 1 copy of the idol? Because you also lose hack, you lose activations, you lose re-triggers, but you gain more value per trigger, more value per 2, potentially. I don't feel like doing the math. I guess I have time, right? I can just, you know, ship the hand and then on the side, you know, start doing some calculations while I'm waiting. Or, you know, you could do the calculations while you're waiting for the hands to process. But I'll just show you. We'll just do it for science. Alright, 42,000, 3 times as much as we started with in ante 4, so in, or ante 14. So in like 4, maybe 4.5 antes. $13 cards left in the deck. Where did we start? How much we were doing at the beginning? We were doing, it was E16 in the beginning. And then the idol took us from E16 to E27. And that was, we lost Brainstorm to pick up the idol, right? 3 cards left in the deck. And so if we trade off 1 hack to do another idol, alright, so here's 5, we play 4, we keep 5. And then that's our last hand. And that's all of our cards. So maybe now we don't need to add more cards to the deck with the burglar. Okay, so this wins, but for science, let's do this too. Just to see. I want to know, like, long term, you know, what is the ceiling that we're aiming for long term. Okay, we've got blueprints on burglar. How much was that? Oh, I could go to stats here. E35. Long term, that's what we're doing. We're doing E35. Here we got 2 copies on the idle. Buffoon pack is not super relevant, but we open just in case. Standard pack, we can still go 1 more. Maybe a queen. And pick up a death card. There's Eris and Temperance, nice. We already rerolled the boss. The boss is the one that cost us money. Unfortunate. Okay, we didn't hit the death card, but I can still use the tower on the queen. So go next. Play 5. Alright, so a little bit less than 43,000 on the Wii. Yeah, let me calculate. 14 hands with the hack. So, or sorry, with the burglar. 14 hands times 5 cards at a time is 70. Right? So we want 70 cards in the deck. $43,700. Where's that queen at? She's hiding in there. Man. I didn't expect it would go on this long. I didn't expect we would be playing with a Wii for so long. Getting tired. There's the queen. Petrified. We'll get the death card later. Maybe I don't want 70 cards in the deck. Here's a consideration. You know, if I play 5 here, I'm not 100% that I'm going to draw a shiny card. But it's in there. Like, there's a chance. There's a chance you draw 4 purple ones, or there's a chance you draw 4 non-shiny ones. 45,000 on the Wii. 1, 2, 3. Play 3 and then the final hand is 5. We can start moving the jokers now. So when we did 3 copies of the idol, it was E35. This time we're doing 2 copies of the idol, and we got 2 hacks. This one's only E34 instead of E35, and so the difference there is like when you're counting abilities, you also have to account for the polychrome cards, right? And so, you know, it's with Red Seal, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 with the hack. And then with the polychrome is like 1/2, and then you've got blueprint and then idle. So like this is like 2.5 times 4, compared to if I do this, it's like 3.5 times 3. And so it's like not much different between those two, not much different, but it is slightly more if we copy the idle instead of the hack, because you know the times 2 is more than the times 1.5 from the polychrome cards. But this is important to know. This is important to note that kind of like it doesn't matter which way we slice it, you know, as far as like moving the blueprints around, we are kind of like maxed out on scoring. And so the way that we move on from here is we turn these into glass. And if you have 5 glass, that's the same as having another idol, right? That's the same as, you know, our E35 becomes like E45 or something like that, or, you know, even higher than that. I do want this voucher. And I also want a death card for this stone card. So let's open the buffoon pack for... Yeah. Sorry, I was saying, you know, as far as like more scoring requirements and like this question of how long can we survive, do we take the brainstorm here? What would we remove? We would remove probably... We would get rid of the burglar. We would play like way less hands every round, but we would be able to survive for way longer. Brainstorm giving us an extra copy of the idol. I don't want to do that. I think already, you know, we just make the things into glass. There is a chance of them breaking, but if we make them into glass, then that's the same as this brainstorm. So I'm just going to skip, I guess. Alright, the thing I'm looking for is death. And maybe a fool card, though having these planets is kind of nice. There's a fool, but I'm not going to use it right away. There's an Eris card. Okay, let's try the Arcana pack. Can I get a death card? I can! And I have the stone right here. So I could just use the death card and use the fool for another death card. We could save it for a rainy day. We can buy the voucher before we leave the shop, and we can start the boss. Alright folks, that's going to be it for this one. I am looking at the clock here, you know, we're basically coming up on 2 hours now. I said that this was going to be a 3-part series, and, or at least, you know, yeah, I said it was going to be a 3-part series, and this is part 3, but, you know, it doesn't seem like we're slowing down here. We got 45,000 on the Wii, that's definitely already, that's a record, but, you know, I think there's still a little bit more room to grow here, and so I am going to finish up this run live on Twitch. I'm going to stream the last part of it. And so if you want, like, you know, part 4, if you want to see how big we go, you know, how many more rounds we survive, well, I'm going to be streaming on Tuesday. You know, at the time of recording this, it's the Tuesday, 2 days from now. And then also, you know, the VOD will come out on YouTube the day after. I stream on Twitch. It's 4 p.m. Central. 4 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then 5 p.m. on Saturdays. I look forward to seeing you there. Take care, everyone.